Just 3 games separate the 5 through the 11 seeds, making tonight's rivalry games even more crucial. And speaking of rivals, look who we have in studio. Kendrick Perkins, back. Richard Jefferson is here in the building. Chiney Ogwumike, I won't make you pick a side.
No, we're friends over here. They're enemies.
Between these two. But I will ask you, Perk, we've officially crossed the midway point of the regular season. Who is the most surprising team? We just saw the standings, do you think, in the playoff mix?
In the play-in mix?
In the play-in mix, yeah.
It's the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? They're the most disappointing team, and the way that it's trending right now, they're on the verge of making the worst trade in NBA history, trading away Karl-Anthony Towns. Right? This is a team that went to...
The worst trade in NBA history?
Yeah, the way that it's trending, the team that went to the Western Conference Finals last year, and you trade away a guy that you drafted #1, a guy that showed up and showed out in the postseason also last year, and now you're in a nice spot. And everyone keep talking about, oh, Anthony Edwards, he's not attacking the basket. He's shooting so many three-point shots. He has no choice because he's on the floor with Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle, and the paint is crowded. And again, I understand the money Karl-Anthony Towns was making. They had to make a business decision, but they're going to have to live with it because they chose Rudy Gobert over Karl-Anthony Towns.
Worst trade, that seems...
That's a lot.
They're
I mean,
trending.
we had.
They're trending.
Well, they're trending towards it. I mean, we had the whole Brooklyn Nets experiment where there were like costly implications with trades. So I'm not all the way there. I actually think that they're in a human position, the Minnesota Timberwolves, meaning what the New York Knicks are doing with Cat. That's accelerated. For someone to join a new team, a team that was so ingratiated, we talk so much about their chemistry, and to be winning and hitting their stride the way that they are, typically we always say when there's a new trade, you give them a year to buffer and find things out. We know that this is not a complete roster. Also, Julius Randle, his usage is around like 25%. It's at a low since he was last in a Lakers jersey, like in 2017, 2018. So, like, you have to give them time to navigate. And what I do like in the midst of this trials and tribulations is Anthony Edwards' play. He's learning on the fly. You know, he takes criticism, but he's also leading the NBA in made threes. So they're still trying to figure themselves out. There's a reason why they made this move. I'm going to give them more time before I say they're the NBA's worst trade ever.
No, it is. Yeah, I'm
welcome back,
vehemently disagree with you. I understand. No, look, I think, first of all, if you get the worst trade, I understand. He's coming off the Defensive Player of the Year. When you look at this Minnesota team, you wanted to get kind of a hybrid. You added Dante DiVincenzo. So ideally, who was great last season, so you wanted to add him. So maybe that adds a little bit more space into the floor and gives you depth as a defender. Then Julius Randle, in my opinion, Julius Randle has been the biggest struggle. He hasn't really gotten used to playing the way he needs to. Not the same way he did with the Knicks, and it's not the same way they use Karl-Anthony Towns. So for that is a mistake. But for me, when I look at it, I also want to look at the young fella, Rob Dillingham. They get a top 10 pick, and normally a top 10 pick does not go to a very good team. So when you get that, and he's just now starting to contribute. So I'm looking at this Minnesota across the board as there are multiple people that are a part of this.
And the reason that Karl-Anthony Towns fits so well with the New York Knicks is because his ability to shoot the ball. Chiney, we're talking about arguably the best shooting big to ever touch the basketball outside of Dirk Nowitzki. It's hard to replace that. When you have that, you can't just give that up for some type of
a package of
sample.
Players that are pretty decent. If Dante was out there, I feel like they look.
He's been out there. They've been healthy. He's been healthy majority of this first half of the season.
Sure, but the last couple of games he hasn't been healthy.
The last couple of games ain't why they 500. That's not why they 500.
Look, speaking of health, they may have a real opportunity tonight because the Mavericks are just ravaged by injuries right now. A big reason they're still in the play-in picture.
Me?
And the blows, they keep coming, guys. Earlier today, our Shams Charania reported that Dallas Mavericks starting center Dereck Lively II has a small fracture in his right foot. He's expected to miss 2 to 3 months, according to Shams. Just brutal for the Mavs. They've lost 10 of their last 14 games since their superstar Luka Doncic strained his left calf. That was on Christmas. He's scheduled to be reevaluated in the coming days, but there still is no firm timetable for his return. So let's go out to American Airlines Center live with our Michael Wilbon. The Lively injury is just a huge blow here, Wilbon. How much of an impact is this going to have on the Mavericks, do you think, moving forward here?
Well, Malika, given the way Lively, just really slid into that role last year in the run and sharing that time with Gafford that they had on the way to the NBA Finals, it would look like a huge loss. And that's sort of the mood around here and around the team. Talked to Lively just briefly walking out here to the court, and he thought it was going to be something minor. I mean, he thought it was going to be something that kept him out a week or two and was stunned, and the disappointment is still just all over his face. And this is so fresh that he's not going to be out there, and talked about getting himself ready for the playoffs. And you realize, I mean, that's a ways away. He's almost certainly going to miss the rest of the regular season. And so where do they go from there? We know that with Luka and Kyrie, what Dallas can be. But Lively was so important to this team, particularly defensively, in the spirit with which he played. And now all of a sudden they don't have that. And where do they go? Does Dallas all of a sudden, is it thrust into a situation where it is looking itself to the trade market? We know how difficult that's going to be for any team right now, but for replacing Lively in the immediate future, these next few games, it's going to be just all hands on deck and what they have here. And they were just trying to get it together without Luka, and now we don't even know when Luka's going to be reevaluated and how soon he's going to make it back. So both these teams are in a struggle for very different reasons.
Yeah, no Luka Doncic tonight, no Dereck Lively tonight, Najee Marshall and Klay Thompson all out here for the Dallas Mavericks. Michael Wilbon, thank you so very much.